What's up, Scribe Squad? It's another day, it's another dollar, and it's time for another freaking interview. You know what I'm saying? But today we got a very special guest here on the ScribeCash show. I'm super duper excited, been a fan for a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say his name, but first, cause it's 2 a.m. I want it, boy. What?
Yeah,
What?
okay, I hear the pipes, I hear the vocals.
I want it, boy. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
make some noise for Adrian Marcel. Adrian, say what's up to the people.
What's happening? What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, it's so good to see you. You know what I'm saying?
I
You've been
appreciate
coming
it.
for a very, very long time. And so what we
Thank
want
you.
to do is we want to, introduce you to some new fans and catch them up with everything you got going on. And also, hopefully I could ask you some new questions for your OG fans that they may not know about. And so
Right.
we're going to start with this right here. When did you first fall in love with music?
Honestly, it had to be probably before I had consciousness about it, I mean, it's something that's always moved me, you know what I mean? Like it was just natural. It was nothing that I can't recall seeing anything in particular or anybody in my family that was, into music like that. So it just kind of was a calling, if you will, for me, for
Okay.
like honestly, just there's, I try to think of these, profound answers for stuff like that, like, well, I remember. It's like, nah, I can't really come up with any good answer for it. It kind of just was there, and all I've ever known is that I was good at music.
All right, so then
Yeah.
we'll segue that. So it was something that was just
Okay.
always in you. But when did you
Yeah.
know? Like, do you have a moment that you like? Ooh, I could sing. Like, did that ever click?
Yeah, when the girls was telling me that I could sing. I mean, a lot of dudes was at the schoolhouse trying to sing and everything, but they wasn't getting the reactions I was getting. So I had to be something, it had to be something just a little different about about my voice. I
Why
mean, because
is
you
it
can
for
always,
dudes always the girls? Why is it always the girls though for dudes? That's always the cue.
I mean, why else? Like what is another reason why, that's as good as that reason? I mean, it's like the reaction that you get, and I guess mine evolved into, having that feeling from just an audience period, but it started out as the only audience I cared about was the females. And as long as the females was feeling it, and I mean they would have requests every like from third grade on up. I just remember waiting for my parents to pick me up after school and being out there with the girls, and they just throwing their request out. Sing this, sing that, sing this. All right, cool. And my goofy ass, I'm just singing it all. Anything you want to hear, I'm gonna sing it. So I think it was just that it was that reaction, that I was getting. And like I said, it evolved into just audiences, period. Now I get that same kick still. It's just not, so focused on just the women. It's like for anybody who is listening, for me to be able to touch them and for me to be able to give them that, euphoric feeling that I feel artists and entertainers are able to give. So
Okay.
yeah.
I rock with that. So,
Yeah.
at first it was the females. It was the females that
Right.
that was getting you going.
I
And
mean, it's always them. It's always them. Like, like it's always them.
it's
But yeah.
always the ladies. It's always
Right,
the ladies.
right,
At what
right.
point did you be like, all right, so not only do I want the females to get a reaction, but I want to make money doing this and I want to do it professionally? At what point did you determine that you wanted to do that?
Oh man, that came later. That came much later. I would probably say that didn't come until maybe my 11th grade year, my
Okay.
11th grade year in high school. I was always, I just loved singing. I loved recording. I loved just hearing my voice on records or whatever, and it wasn't I have to do this, I have to do this type thing. You know what I mean? It was just like, I enjoy doing it. I got some money. Shit, let's go to the studio. Let's drop on some hours at the studio. You know what I mean? But And then I went to a conservatory for high school too. So, you
Okay.
know, it was always about just the love of art, the love of, you know, being creative, you know what I mean? And just expressing yourself. And I think that once I hit 11th grade, you know, I remember Blackberries being out, and I
Oh, don't
remember,
date yourself, big dog. Don't do
man,
don't do
listen,
it.
listen,
Don't do
listen, listen,
it.
listen. I remember Blackberries being out, and I remember Motorola being like
Oh no.
the icon, the icon for business, right? And somewhere in 11th grade for me, I wanted to be a businessman though. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like wearing suits to school and, you know, being fly like that. Yeah, I was like, you know what I'm saying, I'm be writing checks, you know what I mean? And I think it turned into that. And maybe that was because of the crew I was kicking it with, like my homies, we were all trying to be more grown than we was, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we ain't 11th graders, you know what I'm saying? We damn near in college, you know? So it was kind of like that. And I think that mentality started to like find itself into the music, you know what I mean? So I remember we started to book our own shows. You know, I put together a band in high school, and you know, we would be rehearsing every Tuesday and Thursdays at nights here at my house. I would be paying them to, you know, rehearse. You know what I mean? Like just to keep everybody going. And I remember going out and booking shows, like going to venues and talking to people that would have like, you know, I don't know, just good aesthetics at they spots and stuff, you know, like, hey, listen, let us come audition. And if you like us, you know, let us perform on Fridays, you know, for the so-and-so, you know, grown and sexy nights or whatever. I don't know. Let us come turn it up, you know? And I mean, every time we showed up, I mean, it was always, we were killing it, you know, because we took it serious. And at that point, I remember we barely was making any good money. It was like seven of us, and we was getting maybe like $300. You know
Oh
what I
Lord.
mean? But
$300
three hundred
seven-way.
dollars for 7 ways. But I was always big on like, look, I'll walk away with nothing as long as I'm able to feed my team and feed my people. You know, because I know what I do it for, and I know for me, I never needed. It was never about the money that drove me. You know what I'm saying? Like an opportunity to be on stage, an opportunity to kill it, kill all the competition around me, like make the next artist coming up be like, God damn, like what I mean, how put somebody else on before I go up there. Like, no, like put the janitor up real quick. Let him sweep and shit, you know? And that was the thing for me. You know, I was always about killing it. I wanted to kill it. But everybody's not driven the same way. You know what I mean? So especially if you're not in the front. So if you're the drummer or if you're the
Mhm.
percussionist, or you know, you want to make sure that those people are taken care of so that, you know, they keep working, you know, you're able to keep working. So I think, you know, that was when for me it was like, okay, I want to start making money on this. Like I want to make a business out of this. Some sort of way. It has to be deeper than just, you know, for the love of music, you know.
That makes perfect sense. So
Yeah.
if y'all don't know, you know what I'm saying, Adrian has collabed with lots of amazing people. And you
Yeah.
know, one of the amazing people that he's collabed with is Raphael Sadiq. And so what I
Hmm.
want you to talk about is like, it's like double-ended question. So we'll start with like, okay, I know you've probably been approached by major labels, you've been approached by independent labels, you know,
Hmm.
as far as working with different, whether it's major artists, independent labels, or
Yeah.
what has been your perspective? What has been your journey up until this point? And then after that, I
Mhm.
wanted you, like, at what point did you know that you made it? Like, did you have a specific moment that you made it?
Right, right, right. Well, you know, from me, early on, you know, I was always approached by different entities, and whether it was independent managers or, you know, labels or such, you know, it was always, contracts have always weirded me out. You know what I mean? Like contracts make me itch. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with this, you know? And it's just, you know, that thought, that unknown feeling, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I'm about to sign this paper. And then once you sign, it's, you know,
You in
so
that thing.
it always took me a while, you know, whether it was independent, major, it wouldn't have mattered. It was always going to take me a minute, you know?
Mhm.
And as far as who I work with and who I'm who I've always been down to work with. Like you said, I've worked with some really big names. I've also worked with people who aren't as well known, maybe even a little bigger than me, not as big as me, who whatever the case is. I never make it about the cloud. I never make it about, you know, ultimately what super benefit I can get out of it all the time. It's more, it always starts first of if I'm touched by it, if I like it. You know what I mean? Like I hear artists who are unknown and I mean they blow me out the water. It's like, yo, let's work. Let's do something. You know what I mean? Like let me find that high school kid in me again. That's just like, yo, what's up? Like let's go to the studio, then I mean, if it's not that, then of course, again, it still is a business. You know what I mean? When you set yourself up a certain way, there are still, there's still things that you need to abide by that help you live and continue doing what you do. So, of course, there are the artists that it's just like, I don't get it, but hey, you like you like what I do? That PayPal is right there. You send that and you'll get this. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just it really just comes on what I'm touched by. I have a nonprofit named Marcel University, and I work with a bunch of kids. It's sad I haven't really got to dive as far into it lately because of course the pandemic and COVID-19 that's been happening. A lot of the schools have been shut down. And but before this happened, before I actually went on tour, in January was my last month with the kids. But we've been doing a recurring thing where we have pretty much just a mentorship program. But it's mentoring them on the music business, the music industry, and as at the same time still being able to be creative with them and be surprised just how dope they are. You know what I mean? I've met kids that if I was in high school, I would be trying to hang out with them. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you're super talented. Let's hook up. Let's work. You know what I mean? And I think that again, it's just always about that feeling that you get and that you give out. You know what I mean? So I've never been big on cloud, never been big on anything like that. And as far as just like again with labels and such, it just takes me time. I've had a couple things on the table recently, and everything always sounds good when you talk about it and you have your points and yeah, this is what I want. Okay, yeah, we give you that. We got you. That's what you want. We got you. We get that to you. Yes, this, that, this. All right, cool. Then you get the paperwork and it's like, this is not what we talked about.
This is a
what is
whole remix.
what is
They hit
this?
you with the
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's just you just have to be so like focused and in tune with what's going on. You know what I mean? So I just really take my time with stuff like that. And most of the people that I've worked with, it's always been based around just kind of like a mutual respect. Even with somebody like a Raphael Sadiq, it was still a mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Like no, it's not contracts. It's not, always signing yourself to somebody or to some entity. And sometimes it's really just, you know, um, I like what you do, you like what I do, both talented on kind of two different spectrums. Let's put it together, for however long that is. Um, Now to segue to when I feel when I felt like I made it, um, was just when people started to notice me in different places. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm from East Oakland, and it's not like I didn't travel like that before, but I'm one of them people that is like a halfway introvert. Like I'm a half trovert. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's a word, I'm a half trovert. So
Okay, I'm gonna use
I'm
that.
I'm very social. There because I'm in the music industry and because I'm tapped in with that whole side. Like, you have to do the job, but outside of that, I really don't want to go anywhere, right? Like I don't want to be around big crowds. So this pandemic has been great for me, technically. Like,
I be
you know what I
telling
mean?
people,
'Cause,
look, I be telling people all the time. I was like, I've been on quarantine for like the past 3 years.
yeah,
Like,
like I mean that's kind of like what it is. Whenever I was in the Bay, if if I wasn't like working like that, if I wasn't out here to do a show, I'm not even here. Like people see me like, hey, are you in town? Yeah, but I leave tonight, so I'm not gonna have no time to do nothing. Like, you know what I mean? I don't really want to be out like that. You know what I mean? And it's like it's my family and stuff that always end up pulling me out and stuff and get me to really turn up. You know, because when I do turn up, like I lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like I
That's the
just
half
it's
trovert though. That's the half.
that's the so the other half is like if I feel comfortable, if I'm with my people, then boom, then it's over with. It's a whole different person you might get, you know? So I mean, again, so for me being out and moving around, you know, be in New York somewhere or you be over wherever, you know what I mean? Even when I've been to Australia, and even though I'm doing work, it's like you go somewhere to some random restaurant or something, and somebody walks up and then they drop the glass, like, oh my God, it's Adrian Marcel. It's like, oh shit,
Like,
you know
I have
me?
made it.
Like
I've definitely made it
I
out.
have a hoodie on and everything. You still see me? You know my tattoos? What the heck? It's a little scary. You know what I mean? I'll never forget the first time I went to Guam. I remember I remember getting off the plane, and mind you, the plane ride's like 18 hours.
Oh
So
no.
I get off the plane, drowsy as hell, and these people are like, it wasn't like they had signs up saying Adrian Marcel or nothing, right? It was just like this random family, and it was like three old people, and I mean, I'm talking about like really old people, like Guamian old people, like whatever that looks like, just imagine. And then the rest were like little kids, and it was like 6 or 7 of them. They were just like right there, and I'm walking, and I mean these old people are just staring at me. Now because I'm from East Oakland, and you know we tend to have this thing where it's just like what you looking at?
What
Like
you looking at me
what
for?
like what's wrong with me? Is this something on me? Like I'm thinking like, did we walk into a racist like airport or something? Like what? You know what I mean? And I was just like in a bad mood. But luckily I didn't show it though. I was just like this is all happening in my head. Like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? And I was trying to like, let me put a mug on my face so people know, don't mess with me. Like, I know I'm light skinned, but don't get it messed up. And then next thing you know, this little kid walked up to me and was just like, yo, Adrian Marcel, like, and I immediately like dropped everything and was just went over and hugged everybody and was just like, oh my gosh, I forgot. I'm Adrian Marcel. I'm I'm sorry. I was just being Adrian when I just got off the plane. Like, this is a regular trip. Like, you know, so you kind of forget. And I just think that at those moments is when I realized, like, you know, not made it in a sense of comfortable, but you made it. You made it past, you know, that line of what you want to do and what you have done. You know what I mean?
Makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song to perform and why?
Uh usually my favorite song is Imagination to
Okay.
perform, right? Because it's like one of them uber sexy songs that you can kind of play with, you know, and I know for the style of performance that I do, it's perfect. It's just like, oh, it's like every time I start this show, I'm waiting to get to this song because I know at this point, if they haven't been into it, which
They
I
get
doubt,
it.
but if they haven't been into the show, this is the moment where everyone is like, oh, dude, snapping. Like, oh, he's showing out. Like you know what I mean? You really can go there, you know? And more recently though, on the 98th tour that we did, I I did a record off of now Imagination is on the GMFU album,
Okay.
but this song these days is on the 98th project that I dropped in the top of 2019 or
Okay.
middle of 2019 last year. And the song is like, to me, it's not like a crazy, you know, song like that. You know what I mean? It's like vocally, it's not really hard. It's not super high or nothing. You know, Imagination has a little more drive to me than that song did. So I had never performed it though. I hadn't performed any of the 98 records yet. So the tour was the first time I got to try new material out and try some new things for people. And I did that record, and I remember starting it in New York, and it got to this record, and I incorporated D'Angelo's Untitled
Okay. How
on
does
there,
it feel?
right? Yeah, how does it feel?
Yeah.
So I incorporated that in there, and I every time I did the song, it just brought something crazy out of me. And the first time I did it and I witnessed the way it was like tripping the women out in the audience, like they were losing their minds, because Imagination is like more of a sexy song. So you can always do the uber sexy shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm taking stuff off, and so you get the screams and stuff. This song is more about you hurt me. This
Mm-hmm.
song is more about how could you do this? Like, if you keep going, I'm gonna leave. And so it was drawing more of a different emotion out. And it was just like this aggressive like thing. And they were losing their minds. And then all of a sudden you just flip to how does it feel? And it was like, all right. All right, give him what
I'm
he want.
done. I'm
I'm
done.
done. Yeah, I mean, no,
I'm
it was
done.
literally women in the audience that was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I gotta go. I can't. You know what I mean? It's like, cool. So it became like, again, those two records were like, for the tour, I was waiting to get to those records. You know what I mean? It's like I'll skip songs just to get to that record so it could go off and show out. You know what I mean? But I just like songs that on stage, you know, can really resonate to the
Mhm.
people. You know what I mean? I love drawing those emotions. I mean, you could be on stage for 2 hours, and yes, it's a great show, but the whole 2 hours, unless you're like Michael Jackson or, freaking
Beyonce.
Beyonce or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only way. Every song that comes on is like, oh, that's my song, there's some songs you just like, yeah, he's doing a great job. He can sing, he's killing it. I need to check my phone because I need to see what time the restaurant closes when we gonna go after this, and then it's the songs that get them like, oh yeah, this is the one I've been waiting on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
just like those type of records that you can kind of just go above and beyond and just steal the attention. I love stealing the attention. Like, you know,
I think that's part of being an artist. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but I want to know next. Okay, so in one sentence or less, how do you feel like society affects music or music affects society?
It's funny you asked that, because I feel like that has changed. The way you actually asked that question is kind of crazy, because I feel like for the longest, music influenced the culture, and I feel like these days the culture is influencing the music.
Mm.
And it's pro and con to it. You know what I mean? It's like a preference. What do you like? Is this how you like it or not? It's like Skittles. I don't like Skittles, but a bunch of people do. You know, I've always appreciated letting the music kind of push the culture forward. I feel like, when you go back to when hip hop started, when you go back to these moments where, it's the first time you heard something like this, and next thing you know, now that's becoming the thing, and now people want to dress like that. I remember when Usher first dropped Confessions, and the style, right? It was like every day at school. Now I'm coming in blazers and a hat and some ugly ass button up just to go with it that matches it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and it was like Kanye, oh, now you need the blazer and the backpack and you know what I
The
mean?
shades though, the stunning
Yeah,
shades. I had
yeah,
them
and
in middle school. I had the stunning
exactly,
shades.
exactly. So now though, it seems like the music is being made to fit
The
what the
culture.
culture is, and where
Hmm.
and where it is already naturally. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's a pro and a con to it. You know what I mean? I guess you kind of lose, and you kind of take and lose at the same time. You know what I mean? There's a give and take to it. On one end, music is not there's not a bundle of music that's being created in a different form or a different format now. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody wants to stick to the script, if you will, because that's what the culture is on right now. On another end, it is sort of forcing you to be a certain level of creative, because to stick to something like that, you have to kind of, your creativity can't be as free. You have to be able to focus it a little more. So it's just about how you perceive it and the way you take it. For me, it's I enjoy it more when the music, like I said, pushes things forward. You know what I mean? Because music affects the way we think, the way we want to dress, the way we feel. You know, it's it's a part of everybody's life. Everybody has a soundtrack that they don't hear as they walk down the street or as they go through their lives. Like, you know what I mean? That's why we enjoy movies so much, because the movies get to emulate what it feels like at that moment when you just crush some shit. You know what I mean? You think of when it could be a funny movie, even when you're like walking into that business meeting, you're about to crash it and you just feel like, man, I'm about to kill it. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that part.
thing. So, I feel like I've always appreciated that music has done that, you know what I mean? And artists that we've had from the past and some even today that just create the culture for us, create the culture for the people and for the world, you know what I'm saying? And I think more than ever now we need that. I think, especially with what's going on, with what's happening around the world, we definitely need that. We need more of us, the world needs more of us that are reshaping, because that's what's happening. The world is being reshaped right in front of our faces every minute, every day. So we have to be able to, be a part of making sure that we don't lose it, that we don't lose where the culture is actually going. Because again, if music keeps following the culture, then who knows where we're going to end up and what we're going to be doing and what we're subdued to, being forced to feel like we like, and when it's really not natural to us.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
That's food for thought right there. It gave me some,
Food for thought.
that gave me some
Yeah.
soul food. So
Exactly.
that's okay. So last question: what's next for you? And then at the end, shout out your socials and let everybody know where they can follow you and keep up with you.
Yeah. So, I've been working on a few different things. Due to the quarantine and the pandemic, it's actually been pressing me to work on things that are even outside of music. Again, before we got caught in this thing again, I had just kind of started my nonprofit. So that was more of my, community service, with the kids and the youth, and kind of just, taking a step out of myself and giving, my knowledge and my experiences to, the younger me's, like who really enjoy it, who really have a love for this and a certain care for it, and just kind of teaching them what I didn't know, and about just their self, like just believing in self, believing in what you do, and not conforming, and not, again, being led by the culture, and being a cultural leader, in the way that they know best, and that's just through their creativity and through their art. On top of that, I've been into more of, construction and property management, and, um, starting some new endeavors with that. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoying it, enjoying some new things, and finding new talents that are there, and just figuring out that same beast that I like to bring to the stage. I guess I like to bring it to everything that I enjoy.
Good.
But as far as the music though, working on like 2 or 3 new projects right now. Um, I've enjoyed learning to dive deeper into recording myself and engineering my stuff. So I've enjoyed just learning these new sort of these new aspects to my craft. You know what I mean? Producing, and diving deeper into that, diving deeper into the writing, into the engineering. So, I think these next couple projects that I'll be releasing are are a little more exciting for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm back at that place where it's like, let me see what you think. You like that? Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, instead of it being so repetitive and kind of just you know, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna shoot it to the engineer. It's gonna sound like this. You know what I mean? Just, you know, trying some new things out. So these next couple projects are gonna be a new feel. I just recently released my single off actually the first project that I'll be coming out. I'll be dropping called To Be Honest, but the song is called Nowhere. It's actually on YouTube right now. Dope video, dope visual, you know, by my homeboys, Queso, the director, and Louis Visuals. We actually went in and created sort of a short film, you know, so we have 4 videos that are all kind of put into one sort of story, you know, so they all kind of go together, you know. So we're calling them episodes more than we are music videos. So the episode 1 is out right now on YouTube, and episode 2 will be dropping later this month. So I'm excited about that as well. And 2 more to go after that. Like just a storyline, you know, story about love, loss, and lessons. You know, my music has always been reflective of relationships, reflective of love, and just experience, you know, with it. So I think that I've always just continued to be consistent with that. So, you know, people can definitely be sure to just continue to get that vibe from me. You know what I mean? We might have sped it up a little bit, but it's still the same tune. It's still the same thing. You know, we spreading love, especially in these times right now. You know, I feel like there's a lot of hatred going on. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of verses going on, you know, and whether that's good versus evil, whether that's the rich versus the poor, black versus white, whatever it is, it's just a lot of it happening, you know. And for me, I feel like, you know, like a quote that I like to stick to, you know, from Jimi Hendrix was that, you know, the world will know peace when it's more about the the power of love than it is the love of power, you know. So I think that right now that's really what's necessary, and that's my job. My job as an artist, and my duty to myself and my fans and my circle is just to continue to spread love and good vibes and positivity, and you know, sauce. That's it.
Sauce. Well, there you have
Mm.
it. Make sure you follow Adrian Marcel on all of his social media. Shout it out real quick.
Yep. Adrian Marcel on Instagram, Adrian Marcel 510 Twitter. Again, YouTube, Adrian Marcel Music, and subscribe. You know, do all the little tedious things you need to do to show that you support and show that you know what I'm saying, rocking with the music you dig. But then also, you know, there is a thing called Google. You know, you can go to Google and you type in Adrian Marcel, and it'll light you up. It'll be like Adrian Marcel, Adrian Marcel, Adrian Marcel, just everything. You know what I mean? But also more recently though, before I go, I want to let you guys know, please go to textadrian.com and fill out the contact information so I can add you to my phone book. I do enjoy Instagram. I enjoy Twitter, but I enjoy truly connecting with my fans a lot more directly. And I've recently teamed up with Superphone to be able to connect even deeper with you guys. So, you know, a lot of people get freaked out because they're like, nah, you're not really texting. It's me. It's my phone number. It's my phone. It's me and you. We just cut the middleman out. We cutting Instagram and all that out. So textadrian.com if you want to connect directly and be in my phone book, and for us to like really, for me to really keep you connected with everything I got going on. Anything new, merch, music, videos, all of that, you get it first. You know what I'm saying?
All right, you heard it here. That was our boy Adrian Marcel. Make sure you check out more
Yeah.
interviews on the channel. We love you guys.